what we got here. So I'm pretty sure this is as clean as I've ever had this quad. I cleaned it up real nice because the quad is going bye-bye. I was rummaging through Marketplace and I came across this snow bike, and so I clicked on it. It had a pretty cheap price on it. So it's a KTM 450 with snow bike kit. Comes with the dirt bike kit as well. The listing says that it needs a top end rebuild, so I messaged him about it and blah 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 blah. He says it's bored out. So I messaged him and I was like, I'm trying to sell this quad right now. If I sell it here soon, then I'm interested in it, I'll come buy it. Or if you want to do a trade, we can do a trade on it. And anyways, he got back with me and he was interested in doing a trade. So we're heading down to meet the guy and we're gonna trade the Predator for this KTM 450.
One eternity later.
Oh boy, look what we got here. The Predator is gone. And the snow bike kit. So this is a timber sled. I'm not exactly sure what model this timber sled is yet. I'm gonna have to look that up. But it's in pretty good condition. So I don't think it was used a whole lot. So this has a custom graphics kit on it, which is pretty cool. It matches the Brapahawk theme pretty good. I'm digging the color scheme. This is definitely has me all over it. So this is a 2013 KTM SXF 450. It does have a bore kit in it. I believe it's a 520 bore kit. The only flaw with this, as of right now, I'm gonna have to tear it apart and see, but according to the owner and according to a shop that he took it to, it needs some top end work. So we're gonna have to tear into it and see. Depending on what the damage is, we're gonna keep the bore kit, or if it's something a little bit more serious, then might convert it back to a 450. We're gonna do it the cheapest way possible. So we're gonna have to start tearing into it and see what the actual issue is. It says it burns oil and it's got some, I guess they call it, they're saying it's like a piston slap. I'm hoping that's not a rod bearing, but we'll have to tear it apart and see what's up with it. So Gilbert, this also does have the dirt bike kit with it too. So the plan is for now, I'm just gonna fix it up and send it. Hopefully we get a good amount of snow this winter to ride this actual timber sled part of it. That'd be awesome. I'm looking at it and this actually doesn't have that shock. Not a big deal. We'll have to see how stiff of a ride it is. I know on the newer timber sleds you can put a shock rather than using that rod there, but we're just gonna send it with that. We're gonna send it with that rod there and see how it feels. This is actually meant for riding on a dirt bike, whereas my custom snow kit, if you guys are new to the channel, I did make my own snow bike kit back in 2019. I got a ton of old videos on that. That thing was purely functional. It wasn't designed the greatest. I was thinking about redoing it this year, but we'll see. So anyways, let's attempt to unload this myself, start tearing into it and see what's up with it. Hopefully nothing too major, but being a KTM, it's gonna be expensive. I already know it. My first KTM, we did have a Polaris Outlaw 525 back in the day that had the KTM 525 engine in it. It was a powerhouse, so having this similar engine in the dirt bike, it's gonna be insane. I haven't ridden a dirt bike over 250 cc's, so it's gonna be a little bit different riding experience. What? out of breath. So then the unloading didn't go exactly to plan, but we got it off. It's a heavy bike. So I haven't started it up yet, so I'm gonna start it up to get a sense of how it sounds. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. See if it even starts. So this is electric start, so that's nice, especially for snow biking. This sounds like a low end problem, not top end problem. I'm guessing it needs a rod bearing. They did say it was burning oil too, so I don't know. We'll have to tear it apart and see. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Alright, so we are on the verge of pulling the engine out. I think I got some more brackets are kind of in the way, and hopefully I can just kind of tip it out. But that's where we're at, and we'll start tearing it apart and see what is up with it. So, alright, let's get to it. Alright, the engine's out. I had to take more stuff off the bike than I thought I needed to. I took the whole swing arm off and stuff. Just got things out of the way. In the process, I broke the fuel rail on the throttle body, so that's gonna be a $130 oops. The engine seems a lot smaller when it's out of the bike. According to the previous owner, this engine has a 520 bore kit in it by Thumper Racing or something like that. So this engine has been split apart according to them. How'd you get out? Well, just from looking at the valve, the head, this looks like they ran it out of oil for a short period of time. This rocker right here is pretty discolored. It's black, so this got hot at one point. That's what it looks like, in my opinion. The cam lobes look fine though, so maybe this didn't get hot, but it's definitely colored like it did. It doesn't smell like it's burnt though, but we'll keep going into it. Do just what you want. You're the one I trust, and I always be around when I need some loving, baby. So I got the piston out, just did a little bit of research on it. At first I didn't think it was a bore kit, but it is. So I saw some foul play in the head where one of the rockers looked like it got pretty warm. That's pretty discolored. So we're gonna be tearing that apart too, make sure that's still fine. But here's I cleaned the top of the piston up a little bit, just I wanted to see if I could find numbers. But now that I got it off, you can see there's some discoloration down there, and there's discoloration on that rod. So someone ran this low on oil is what it looks like. So things got hot. The rod is shot, so I need a new rod. So now I gotta tear apart down to the crank, make sure all the crank bearings are fine, probably just replace them while I have it apart, get a new rod, and go from there. So now I gotta do some research on this bore kit. I'm assuming that this rod is stock. I don't think they changed the stroke at all. I'm guessing all they did was just change the diameter of the piston and the cylinder. So I'm gonna do some research on this kit and then go from there. I do know that this bore kit uses a CP piston, so we'll keep digging at it. This is just, it just sucks I gotta tear this transmission apart because they're all connected, but anyways, we're gonna tear this apart and split the case apart and check everything. Make sure that check the crank and make sure that's all good and dandy. I'm guessing if the piston got hot, then probably the crank did too, but I can't tell until I get down there. I'm gonna spin it here though, around, but it doesn't look burnt like the rod does. And it's hard to tell from this angle. It doesn't look cooked down there, but we're gonna split it apart. We gotta get to it because we gotta get that rod off there. I was kind of looking through the service manual, and this crank does not look fun to tear apart. So let's see how it goes. I'm highly confident that I'm just gonna convert this back to a 450 because the cylinder is pretty much shot. No point of I just don't want to use it. The piston's shot, the rod's shot. So if all that stuff is bad, I might as well just convert back to 450. So I'll get a new cylinder, new piston. The head's still fine. Still need to take this rod out. If I can replace the whole crank within a kit, then I might just do that. It'll make my life a little easier taking this rod out, because KTM, to get this rod off, you gotta split the crankshaft in half, and it looks like you're gonna need some special tools to do that. So if I can find a crankshaft with the rod on it already, that'll save me a lot of time. It's just gonna raise the price up a little bit. So I'm gonna do some looking, price things out, and the people that did this bore kit, I was doing some research, their website is shut down now. They got some other company doing some of their work now, and I just don't feel like dealing with that crap. So if I gotta replace all this anyways, I might as well just go back to 450, keep things simple. I was a little skeptical about the bore kit when I bought it, but the price was right. The price is still gonna be right. It's just plans changed a little bit, and I kind of planned on, depending on what the problem was, I was gonna go back to a 450 anyways. But if it was just something simple like new piston or valves or something, then yeah, I would have kept it a 520. If I'm guessing that's what it was. This is supposed to have a 95 millimeter bore, piston bore, and I measured it out, and it's 104 millimeters. So it's definitely probably 520. It's quite a bit bigger. So I'm gonna go to the computer and do some shopping and see what I can find, and then start tearing this crank out because it's got to come out. But I want to get the parts on order, so I know what I need now. So cylinder, piston, gaskets, rod bearings, stuff like that. If we can get all this under 800 bucks, that'd be nice. All right, guys. So we are gonna be officially converting this back to a 450. It's just gonna be way better to do it that way. So I ordered the parts. Luckily, so I'm a dealer through Rocky Mountain ATV MC.com. So I did save myself about $300 with that, and I bought a used cylinder that looked like it was in good condition yet. Otherwise, it would have been like $900 to do a cylinder and a piston together. For whatever reason, KTM only sells a cylinder with a brand new piston, which is pretty ridiculous. So anyways, I bought a used one for about $250. So all in all, I'm about $750 of parts to rebuild this. So I'm putting in a Pro X piston. I got new gasket kits coming in for it, and the head's fine. So once this is all done, I will have $3,000 into this bike, which ain't bad at all. If you guys don't know, I bought that Polaris Predator 500 last fall, and I fixed it up and whatnot. So I have about $1,500 into that. So I traded that quad in plus an additional $700 on top of it for this bike. So which puts me around, in the dollar market, that puts me around $2,200. And then I'm gonna add another roughly $750 on top of that. Yeah, close to $3,000 for a 2013 KTM SXF 450 with a timber sled. So on today's market, this whole kit is probably worth around $7,000, $8,000. So $3,000 for that, it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, if you put a number on my time and labor, then I mean, yeah, you can take that into consideration. But the way I look at it is I'm putting value back into it. So down the road, when it comes to selling it, or if I ever do sell it, which I mean, eventually probably, I'm either gonna ride this for very cheap or I'm gonna make money on it. So, or you know, I might even break even. So that's the way I look at it. So like the Predator 500, I made about $3,000 on that. So I rode that for free, made money on it, made content with it, and so yeah, I figured this was what was going to be the problem. I always take, whenever you're buying something used, someone says there's something wrong with it and they tell you, yeah, it needs top end rebuild or needs new whatever. Most of the time they're wrong. And in this situation, he said it needed a top end rebuild, which I believed. So what I think was going on really was I think the piston was getting wore out and it was burning oil. So then the oil level got low enough to not lubricate some of the stuff in the top part of the engine. So I think that's what was the main reason. So that's what took out the piston and the rod. Now they're just scored, they're not like cooked or anything, but they definitely got hot for a period of time. So I don't know. Who knows what happened. So we're gonna have to dig into it a little farther and see if I can find another culprit. And hopefully the crank's fine. So I do have all the other parts ordered, but if the crank needs replaced, then that's gonna suck too. But it don't look burnt down there. Alright guys, so I am back. I went to the farm and I got the crank out and put back together. So in this particular case, I've never seen a crank like this before. Granted, I haven't done other dirt bikes. Most of the time when you have a connecting rod, they normally split the rod in half and then you can bolt it onto the crank. Well, in this case, as you can see, this one doesn't have that. So you actually have to split the crank in half, and and then you press this dowel out with you press that out with a press, and then you gotta press a new one back in, and it was not easy. And they want you to use their jig setup to do it, which probably makes life a lot easier. But I did not have that. I did not feel like paying for that, so I did it my way. So I didn't show it because it's not the correct way to do it. So I got it down though, and now it's time to put it back together. I don't have the cylinder yet. That will probably come in tomorrow. So hopefully we can get this done tomorrow, but I can put the crank back in, get the case back put back together, and then we'll put the cylinder in, and then we're in the home stretch. Alright guys, so it's the next day. I'm still waiting for the cylinder to come in. I'm hoping it comes in today. But in the meantime, I still got some stuff to do. Just got finished putting the clutch case back together. And then on the other side, put the flywheel and stuff back on. And then and from this point, it's a waiting game. And then once the cylinder comes in, I can put the cylinder on, put the piston on. Actually, I can put the piston on now. And then once I get the head on, I will check the valve clearance on that, and then if I have to adjust the valves, then I'll do that. Alright guys, so I got the piston and everything all just prepped, so I'm just waiting on the cylinder. I got an update, so it is coming tomorrow, so just gonna have to wait. So transition, and just like that, the cylinder has arrived. So it looks good. So this is a used cylinder. It looks like it's in good shape. So I'm gonna send it. It's kind of neat to see how they made this bore kit. So this company just took the stock 450 cylinder, and what they did is they obviously bored the inside of the cylinder out, but they also had to bore the outside out just a tiny bit, which is odd, but that's what they did. So that's the difference right there. That's the old one. That's the new one. So yep, it should work. This is shaped a little differently. I'm wondering if they did that. We're gonna see how this fits. So this cylinder actually came off of a XCW. That's what the listing said anyways. So I took a little bit of a gamble to make sure that it was gonna cross-reference. Just checked the valve clearance and it's perfect still, so don't need to shim the valves or anything. So just crank this engine over and make sure everything's gonna work properly. The spark plug is in it right now. seems like it's cranking over fine, so I'm gonna put the magneto cover back on and put this thing back in, and then we'll put some oil in it, crank it over, hopefully she runs good. So I think I got everything necessary hooked up. So we're gonna try to crank it over and see if she fires up. Fingers crossed. I got oil in it, coolant's in it, gas hooked up, all the electrical's hooked up. So, all right, let's see. It's trying. Alright, so after an hour of kind of researching and fumbling with things, I think I figured out the issue. So it would start and then just die out of nowhere for no reason. I thought it was maybe it just need primed up a little bit, but I was doing it over and over and over again. So anyways, I did some research, and these bikes have a rollover, tip over sensor on there. And me not knowing when I took this apart, I unhooked it and then I installed it backwards. So the bike thought it was upside down. So it was just shut itself off. So I think I flipped it back over and I think I got it. So let's try this again. Alright, so it's running, the motor sounds like it's running okay, but my clutch has a windy noise to it. I think it's my clutch. So I'm going to double check my clutch. Something seems off with the clutch. I don't know what it is. Alright guys, so it is the next day. I've had a frustrating last 6 hours or so trying to figure out that kind of windy noise, and it is the clutch. I'm trying to figure out how to adjust the clutch, and no matter what I do, nothing would change. I have the spring washer as tight as it will go with the settings that they gave you, and when you start it, the plates are half spinning inside of there. So that's that whining noise you're hearing. They're just kind of like, there's a lot of friction going on. They need to be super tight. I have new clutch disc coming for it. Hopefully that fixes that issue. I've looked over the service manual. I looked through the parts diagrams. I have it together right. So for whatever reason, the clutch went bad, and it might have been bad to begin with. I never actually drove it. I started it. I don't remember it making that whiny noise, but I only ran it for about 10 seconds. Was the clutch bad to begin with? Probably. and now I kind of looking closer at it. The clutch disc are definitely been heated up. So I'm wondering if the discs are a little smooth after being heated up and stuff. I don't know. Either way, I'll have it here in a couple days. The engine is running fine. It runs great. It sounds really good. Other than the clutch. Other than the clutch, it's running good. So I also need to bleed the rear brakes, finish putting the plastics on, finish putting more coolant into the system. I gotta adjust the chain still. There's some really minor things that need done, like it's missing the rollers for the chain guides and stuff. Not a huge deal, but that should be on there to help save your frames and stuff from being rubbed on by the chain.
I belong to you. I belong to you. Do just what you want. You're the one I trust, and I always be around when I need some loving, baby. No one else. Yeah. Let you down.
Alright, so I got all the plastics on, so just waiting on the clutch disc, and then we'll be riding it. So stay tuned, make sure you guys subscribe for the next video. We will be riding this thing. In about a week and a half, we are heading down to the Hatfield-McCoy Trail System and gonna spend a week down there. I'm most likely taking the Razor, but if it does sell, then I will take this bike. So I gotta get this thing running for that. And I'm probably going to take both, to be honest. I'm not sure yet. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Take me to your heart.